ITSM Weekly, the podcast, Rest of the World edition, bringing you news, insight, analysis and information from the world of IT service management. Your hosts, Stephen Mann, James Finister, Patrick Bolger and Chris Matchett. ITSM Weekly, Rest of the World edition. The podcast starts now.
ITSM Weekly Rest of the World podcast, hosting and streaming brought to you by SDI. SDI, serving the IT service and support community since 1984.
Welcome to episode 34 of ITSM Weekly Rest of the World podcast. This is the Dirty Four of me, Chris Matchett, recording for the first time in an open office and feeling very self-conscious. Jimbo is recording on top of a dog. Patrick is recording on top of a toilet. And Stephen, where are you, Stephen?
Some sort of insane asylum somewhere, I think.
No, you're in good company. How are you all, guys?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Good. I'll tell you what, though, I am missing Barclay.
Well, maybe he'll join us at the end with a very seamless segue of something that was recorded probably a week later. And it'll be really seamless and the listener won't be able to tell at all.
Apart from the fact that Barclay hadn't said a word in the first 45 minutes of the podcast.
That's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Should we move on? Do we have any news?
We've got some news. First of all, apparently James wants to talk about Aspire. James, what's going on with that?
Aspire, which is actually one of those quite good acronyms, but probably a bit out of date. Aspire is the Capgemini deal of HM Revenue and Customs in the UK. Actually stands for Acquiring Strategic Partners for the Inland Revenue. Whether or not they change the name and they actually get rid of CAP eventually, I'm not quite so sure. But they've just announced that they've lowered the cost of the Aspire contract by a quite phenomenal amount, £200 million for the year. Well, by 2017, they'll reduce the annual cost by £200 million. Primarily, I believe, by taking control of the subcontractors away from Capgemini and taking it back into being a centrally managed service. There is a little comment in here about it being the end of SI, but obviously as TCS's UK head of SI, I see that as an aside.
It'll just be you.
That's service integration, isn't it? Not systems integration.
That's service integration rather than systems integration.
Cool.
Not Sports Illustrated.
It does actually raise an interesting question, because one of the issues, which is a genuine issue around service integration, is how do you get your different subcontractors to actually contribute to reducing the overall cost, and what's in it for them and what's in it for the lead supplier as well. It's certainly a valid area of discussion.
Could